A fairy tale? No, this is the Ferrari that wins. Legendary. For the third year in a row, the 499P has won the 24 Hours of Le Mans. In the past 2 years with the official red cars and this time with the yellow one, the customer car from AF Corse. Whoever says it is impossible to build a winning Italian team is completely wrong. Antonello Coletta's staff have proven it. 4 races in the 2025 FIA World Endurance Championship, 4 victories. The Prancing Horse, through its dominance at Le Mans, has essentially secured the Endurance World title, considering its 202 points versus Toyota's 91 and Porsche's 80. In the 2025 season, a double Formula One title was expected, namely the Drivers and Constructors Championships, but instead, the satisfaction is coming from the World Endurance Championship squad, which proves to be strong, highly organized, and united. President John Elkann and Chief Executive Officer Benedetto Vigna chose to go to Le Mans rather than Canada, where Vice President Piero Ferrari was present to represent the brand. A divergence that explains the situation more than any words could. It is as if there are 2 Ferrari worlds inside Maranello, the losing one in Formula One and the winning one in World Endurance Championship. And the top management has clearly chosen sides, preferring to applaud sports cars rather than single-seaters. The Italian press has been accused of launching a harsh attack on team principal Frédéric Vasseur before the Canadian Grand Prix round in Montreal. It is said that the continued lack of results, after the hope of championships, could lead to a non-renewal of the team principal's contract, which expires at the end of the 2025 Formula One season. Frédéric Vasseur responded with frustration, blaming those journalists who he claimed wish harm upon Ferrari. The Frenchman asked the drivers to close ranks, and both Lewis Hamilton and Charles Leclerc made themselves available to present an image of unity. Frédéric Vasseur said he was not so much worried about his own position, pointing out that there is plenty of time to discuss the renewal, but rather about the attacks on his team members, who have families, wives, and children, and who could be destabilized by criticism after all the hard work done to build a functioning system. That may be true, but the doubts have arisen because the Napoleon of Dravail no longer enjoys the full support of the John Elkann-Benedetto Vigna duo. A single statement from ownership would have been enough to restore confidence in a manager who, 3 years ago, was handed the keys to the sporting division and given a blank slate to build the racing department in his own image. John Elkann described the day as a great victory for Ferrari, emphasizing that it was a triumph for everyone involved in the company and for all its divisions. The American-born Italian industrialist stated that Ferrari had succeeded through teamwork, demonstrating how unity could lead to exceptional results. He referred to Le Mans as a special occasion for motorsport enthusiasts and said that what had been accomplished verged on the heroic. John Elkann pointed out that over the past 3 years, 3 different cars and 9 drivers had exemplified the true meaning of collaboration. The chairman and CEO of Exor expressed his gratitude to everyone at Ferrari, calling the 3 consecutive wins at Le Mans a historic milestone that filled the team with pride and honored the legacy of Enzo Ferrari. Not a single mention of Formula One, only a deafening silence that fuels rumors and lends weight to the idea that the media coverage was not exaggerated, as someone on TV tried to suggest, but rather the result of well-founded analysis. The SF25 is a flawed car, and the changes needed to fix this difficult season are slow in coming. In other words, there are few ideas, and they are confused. All this, while on the other side of the road, success keeps arriving. 1,500 people are not enough to build 2 winning single-seaters, but 150 are enough to dominate the hypercar class. Of course, the commitments and budgets are vastly different, but the contrast is striking, because the company is the same. Formula One loses, the World Endurance Championship wins. True, you can't compare apples and oranges, but the company's DNA should be consistent. Now Antonello Coletta is being pulled in the direction of reorganizing the sporting division. The Italian manager sees a move to the Formula One division as a nightmare, and wants to remain in the fortress he has expertly built, preferring that Frédéric Vasseur continue the work he began. The answers, therefore, do not depend on the Italian media, but on Ferrari's top management, who for now prefer to remain silent. The fairy tale? It is the story of Robert Kubica, the Polish ace who took Chinese driver Ye Yifei and British rookie Phil Hansen by the hand to bring them to the top step at Le Mans. He had seen the red dream vanish in 2012, when he should have raced in Formula One and never became an official Ferrari driver. Now he has challenged the 499 PS in 50 and 51, tormenting the red cars with a race pace that was simply too much for others to handle, despite driving almost with one hand. A masterclass that erases any handicap with passion, skill, knowledge, and speed. The 40-year-old from Krakow has shown what it truly means to hash be Ferrari, and some should take note. The 2025 24 Hours of Le Mans will therefore go down in history as one of the races with the most unique and unexpected outcome, yet also one of the most romantic, which saw Ferrari triumph for the third consecutive time, thanks to the private AF Corse team. The trio made very few mistakes, maintained a strong pace, and secured the lead in the morning after an error by the official #51 Ferrari. Another great story is that of a Ferrari Works driver since last year and already a winner with the 499P at Austin in 2024, but with a traumatic Le Mans experience in 2021 that only a hypercar victory could finally put behind him. The Chinese driver, the first to win the 24 Hours of Le Mans overall in a Ferrari, recalled that his first Le Mans was in 2021 with Robert, and everyone knew how it had ended. He mentioned that the Polish driver had joked with him that week, saying that the 2 times they had raced together at the 24 Hours, they never finished. He laughed and expressed his hope for a different outcome this time. And then there's Robert Kubica, one of the most talented, determined, and generous drivers, who hasn't always received what he deserved. Winning the year's most important race in a car from the most prestigious brand adds a sweet chapter to a true fairy tale. As for the race, the Polish driver drove for over 10 hours and never held back. After all, who better than him to handle tricky situations? As we mentioned, the Robert Kubica fairy tale takes on truly beautiful and romantic tones. And Robert himself gives a touching interpretation, in his typically honest and thoughtful way. Robert Kubica said that he did not think this was the most important success of his career, explaining that the most important victory was unrelated to racing. He described it as the battle he fought when his mind refused to accept his limitations after the accident. During his recovery, he fought for months and worked hard to accept his situation, to restart, find peace of mind, and stop living with the what if it hadn't happened mindset, instead focusing on goals and milestones. The Polish driver acknowledged that accepting limits might seem easy, but for him it was anything but. He added that fate had given him something back that day, at least in sporting terms, calling it a huge result. Robert Kubica described himself as the kind of person who did not even enjoy his previous Formula One win at the time and hoped that maybe tomorrow he would manage to enjoy this victory more. He admitted he was tired, having gone many hours without sleep, at least the past 38, and that he had only slept 2 hours. However, he hoped that once he got some sugar into his system, his brain would switch on and he would enjoy the moment more.